in just a moment's time, as we have, spawning in the top left position of Akalon, representing Western Wolves, it's going to be Sortof. His opponent, spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, famous for early game antics that we have yet to see in this best of 9. Will that get pulled out on this map? It is from Awesome Gaming, Fuzer.
Now, since Fuzer has gone to 9 supply, I can safely tell you he is not going for the 888 build.
Okay.
Okay.
That's great to know.
Now, this is game 2. It is a 2-player map, and sometimes things going in pairs. A pair of barracks, for example, proxied could be very effective. I wonder if Fuzer will do that.
Yeah, a double barracks play could be a possibility on this map here. Let's see if he chooses to send any SCVs out. Right now, he's up to 11 workers, so no massively early stuff here. The first barracks is going to cop down at the wall as per normal, and it looks like, at least for now, things are quite normal.
Things are quite normal. We should see a 15 hatch out of Sortof because, as I said in game 1, it's all Zerg players ever do, because why not? And then he'll get a 16 pull. Moving on from that, what kind of things can we see on Akalon Waste? Well, actually, muters on this map are again quite a good opportunity. They work really well in game 1. Fuzer now getting the gas quite a bit later than he got in game 1, so this is going to leave some interesting plays. It should be a Reaper. It could also be a Reactor actually on the barracks. That's another cool build you can go before you get the command center down. Just a little bit safer, but we'll wait to see. What are you predicting, Jorisar?
Well, see, for me on this map, like, I have some sick, cheesy Marine tank all-in builds that just work against Zerg here, but possibly not quite at Sortov's level. So I'd love to see stuff like that. We have the drone actually. Interesting scouting there. He wants to make sure there isn't a proxy barracks on the high ground in the middle there. So perhaps he listened to you a bit there, Maddles, just wanting to make sure that there aren't sneaky early game shenanigans.
Now, early game shenanigans, I have no doubt, will make an appearance in this best of 9 at some point. The bunker is coming down, but the drone is just like, hey, SCV. The SCV runs away. Not going to be building or repairing that bunker, because, of course, Fuzer's SCVs have not researched that repairability yet. So, therefore, that bunker isn't going to get completed.
It doesn't look like it. A drone is going to be hacking away at that SCV just for a little bit. It's doing a bit of damage, and a Reaper is going to pop out and kill that drone. So he's going to be heading into the main base now to see what kind of damage he can do. 8 lings and 2 queens on the way, though. And I think as long as they kill the SCV, and they have, there shouldn't be too much for Sortof to worry about here.
Sortof has, well, Fuzer, should I say, yet again has gone for 2 Reapers, but that's going to get shut down. He has still done some damage, in the sense that he's forced out these 8 Zerglings, 4 less drones that obviously Sortof would have had this aggression not come down. But with the bunker not completing, it won't be quite as effective as we saw in the first game. Now, the transition, the command center down a lot quicker, the factory also coming out, these Reapers just getting a quick little scout out saying, okay, what have you got in your base?
Yeah, so good. Recognizing the queen was off of creep, and therefore... Oh, actually going the wrong way there. He is going to get them trapped, because you can't actually jump down from that. But holy crap, are they really... Are you... No. If both Reapers... Wow! That was amazing. That was like by the skin of his teeth. You can't jump down from the high ground in the main base on the right-hand side. So I was like, oh, they're going to get trapped now. The Reapers look like they're going to die. And... how did he survive there?
I don't know. I just don't know. This was... Those Reapers, they were like...
And now they're fine.
Yeah, they're fine. They're just like, I healed up. I healed up, bro. Strange. Nothing makes sense in, obviously, computer games. Doing a load of drugs out of combat means they actually get more health.
Oh, no, that definite... Oh, wait, no, I can't say anything about that on air. But, yeah, it looks like it works for them.
Yeah, it works for them, definitely. But of course, as we can see now, the command center, the 3rd CC, on its way out for Fuzer. He's doing a very similar build to the previous game. It's just a bit more economically focused. Sort of, though. Baneling Nest, 20 Zerglings. Did somebody say Baneling Bust?
Well, here's the thing, right? Fuzer, love him or hate him, did a ridiculously good amount of damage with those 2 Reapers. Let's take a quick look at the resources lost tab. 7 units lost for Sortof compared to just the 1 from Fuzer. He's been picking off units left, right, and center with these 2 Reapers and doing a damn good job about it. So, this would naturally prompt...
Oh, Zerglings coming straight into the natural base. Sortof is going to be able to do a lot of damage. Banelings are morphing. There is no wall off at the natural. The Hellions have found the Banelings. Are not going to be able to do too much about it. And yeah, these Banelings are going to waddle into any units they can find.
Very, very nice. They're actually picking off half of the Banelings with those Hellions. He might get the other half here as well. Yes, great kiting back. And all of the Banelings are now dead. Fuzer might be able to hold this quite well. But as I was saying before, this kind of play naturally suggests to your opponent you're more likely to go for some sort of all-in play because you had that economic damage dealt to you early on. And Fuzer is doing a great job of holding on right now. And as soon as I say that, cast a curse, these Hellions are all... Are they getting surrounded? I think he'll just about manage to do this.
Yeah, he should be able to get at least a good number of SCVs while the final Hellions or do clean up the final Zerglings. But now Sortof has killed 10 workers to Fuzer's 6. Actually, that leaves it looking now very nice for Sortof. He's got an 8-worker lead. He's getting down a rotor on those, so he's not transitioning out by taking a third. Instead, he's just going to try and kill his opponent.
I think he has to at this point, though, Maddles, because don't forget, there's a 3rd orbital command for Fuzer. Yes, he's 5 workers down at the moment, but he's producing SCVs 3 at a time, and he's got triple mules as well. Sortof is going to be carrying a healthy disadvantage into the mid-game here if he can't find a way to kill Fuzer off quickly. And right now, those roaches need to come out and kill off these Hellions.
There are a lot of Hellions, though, like an exceptional amount, and they're coming straight in. The drones are lining up, Jorisar. Some going down, the roaches, they're not killing the Hellions quickly enough at the moment.
It's a barbecue and everybody is invited. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. 13 workers killed this game so far. The Hellions still haven't done a catastrophic level of damage. They're moving into the main now. A couple more workers getting picked off. The Rogue's actually doing a good job of zoning them out. There are only 3 now Hellions left. But is that enough to do a couple more? He needs 1, 2, 3. Oh my goodness. 18 workers killed to 10. 54 to 53 supply. But Fuzer is now on 30 workers to 20, and he's on 3 orbital commands with bunkers going down in his main as well. I think this puts our Terran in a pretty decent position.
This is good times. He's got the money machines. He is like the casino owner right now, and he's got Widow Mines behind his wall off to stop any Zerglings running up too close. So, obviously, good move there by Sortof to sending a Ling at a time to try and soak up some of the Widow Mine fire. But 3 bunkers, Fuzer knows that if he holds this wall, if he holds his natural, he's going to be happy.
Oh, and the Hellions trying to come back in, unable to do so. Is he sort of trying to get into the main base? Only one of the bunkers actually has units in it at the moment. And these roaches are going to be very, very annoying indeed. But 3 more Widow Mines going to help defend at the natural. Oh, are the SCVs going to keep the roaches in range of those Widow Mines? No, not quite. And actually, these roaches are doing a lot more damage than perhaps Fuzer initially thought they would.
Now, this game is it's just the mass death of all of the workers. 29 SCVs killed and 18 drones. That takes the worker count 22 to 34 in Sortof's favor. But Sortof is still on 2 bases, and Fuzer still has 3 orbital commands. 3 mules, economically, it's going to be pretty equal, and it's getting harder and harder, or it should do for Sortof, to make this work, because his lair is only just getting started now at like the 12.5-minute mark.
Yeah, so what I would say is, if it weren't for those roaches getting into the natural, Fuzer should be in like a ridiculously nice position right now. He's not, though, because he lost those workers. Instead, he probably has to survive at least 1 more round of attacks before he can consider himself quite safe. And to be fair, there are enough Widow Mines there to... I don't even know what to say. There's just so many that I actually think... Yeah, he's just going to...
Oh, so many drones are going down in the natural base, though. Of Sortof, he's taking quite considerable losses there. The Roaches just getting back time. There's also 2 Widow Mines down, but obviously an Overseer is now morphing. The lair is finished. We have 2 tanks on the way out for Fuzer. He's getting more racks. But the thing I'm noticing is he's committing quite a lot to get a lot of barracks out. But Stim is not even started yet.
Wow. Well, He's going for the who needs that approach. I wonder if we're not switching into mech just yet. We do have 2 siege tanks coming out for him though. I wonder if he's going to be mixing in Hellbats in this composition. Really, I was looking for the armory there, but he doesn't have one at this moment. The 3rd base is going down now for Sortof. More roaches incoming, and he is going to stick with this roach composition for a while because his tech was delayed, as we know, and he is getting his +1 attack and his Glial Reconstitution a little bit later.
So, Marine, Tank, Mine. Really good against this sort of Ling Roach composition. But Fuzer, he needs to look to start taking his 3rd base sometime soon. And that's why he's floating the Orbital Command down now, as I say that. And ultimately, this just means that he's going to get himself into an okay economical spot. He's only 2 workers behind, but has 3 mules that sort of does not. This comes down to if Fuzer can hold, and he's being aggressive still, but as long as he doesn't die in the near future, he's ahead economically. The only thing he's missing is those stim, which still isn't started. He's going for combat shield.
Yeah, no combat shield and no stim on these Marines, and the reason he's going for combat shield medal, never mind, we actually have an engagement out in the middle of the map here. The tank's not going into siege mode, they can do a little bit more DPS that way, all the Widow Mines burrowing, and that's going to prompt Sortof to move back. What I was going to say is that the first medevacs, oh, never mind. It looks like I'm never going to get to say anything here. As Sortof actually gets a really nice concave against these Marines and tanks. 2 tanks do siege up, a 3rd one is unsieged in the back. All of the Widow Mines have wasted their shots now as well, which means these roaches are able to power through. Can they get the last tank? Looks like they were trying to snipe that off, and I think he's just doing as much damage as possible to limit this push. Fuzer is actually going to lose this, and that's because there was no combat shield, there was no stim, and what I was alluding to earlier, most importantly, no medevacs medals, which is why I think he wanted to go for that combat shield first.
Now, as we can see, Fuzer, he still has a chance. If he can get behind that wall off and siege up nicely, he may be able to hold, but he's got so few units that it's going to be tremendously difficult for him. He desperately needs to deal with those roaches, and I'm surprised he moved out, to be honest, because if he just waited, with those tanks there sieged up, it would have been so hard for Sortof to push into him.
Okay, so remember when the Widow Mines first burrowed in the middle of the map? Like, Fuzer could have just sieged up there and waited for combat shield to finish, or waited for medevacs to come out. Either one would have been fine. But he waited for neither and immediately unburrowed the Widow Mines and continued moving forward from this army. That's inviting overextension, and that's exactly what happened.
And now Sortof is punishing that by sending some roaches into the 3rd, picking off a few more SCVs, but drops are coming in, drops to the 3rd,
The orbital
as well.
The orbital.
Okay, the orbital is not going to survive, I don't think. Okay, SCV, repair,
SCV,
redeem yourself from first game.
Thor, Spirit of Thor says, do it. No. 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 Nick. Oh.
The drops though, at least the drops are doing damage. That's the one plus thing for Fuzer. He is going full on Sparta mode. He does not want to defend. He just wants to attack. But the roaches are cleaning it all up, and the repair. The repair, Jorasad.
Repair requires fusion core. He hasn't actually researched the upgrade yet.
They changed that again in the balance, but
yeah, exactly.
I kind of got to that point now where my casting brain has stopped, and I can't help. I just want to keep repeating it in the hope that Fuzer hears it. Just like, repair, Fuzer. Fuzer, repair, please, just repair that. Just please.
No, definitely not.
Definitely not.
We don't do
that. Do not repair. Do not defend. Attack.
To be fair, that's pretty exciting. I can live with that, as long as attack is a caveat of that conversation. And we have got a decent number of Lings and Roaches now creeping up towards a natural expansion here. Sortof is currently a 145 supply to 129. His army supply is a bit higher. And don't forget, 3 medevacs actually have a lot of those Marines in them. And Sortof actually spots the medevac, smells it coming, and decides that, you know what, I actually need to move back and defend here first. This 4th base will almost certainly get cancelled, and lose a couple of drones. But other than that, Fuzer's not going to be able to do too much more damage, because Sortof's army is actually quite close by.
And, well, these drops have to do a lot of damage, and they're really not. Sortof, the supplies are very equal, but actually, Sortof's economy is not looking so good, because, all in all, he's got, 47 drones to 57 SCVs. Fuzer is still really very far into this game.
Yeah, it's
And he knocked out the third.
That's a great point, actually. Knocking out the third is definitely a good move there, but he needs to get more workers out. Having 45 workers on 3 bases is not a situation you want to be in. So, yeah, he needs to grab his third, at least find some time to drone up, even if it's just once. And I think making these drops do not much damage might be a good opportunity for him to drone up. In fact, he's doing just that. 7 drones on the way at the moment. He's getting his hive out. He's saying, look, Fuzer, I don't think you can do any damage to me right now, so I'm just going to macro up. I'm just going to tech up. What are you going to do about it? And it looks like Fuzer's
Quadra drop.
Well,
That's
if 3
what he's gonna do about it.
right? Go for 4, right?
Yeah, just
Oh,
like...
and does he see that at the watch? Does he see that at the watchtower? Yes, he does
Now
now.
he will. It's like, hey, what's going on here? Let's just drop just a couple of units on top of this in case Sortof didn't notice. But what are you going to do? Is Sortof here? Fuzer? Okay. Fuzer, he's got 3 medevacs ready to go into the main. 4 coming in to the third. Medevacs everywhere.
But the army is staying split. Sortof isn't moving the army in the main to go defend the third or anything silly like that. He's just in a completely comfortable position right now against these drops. Fuzer's trying to buy time until he can go for an all-out frontal assault. And to be fair, that many tanks looks like a decent all-out frontal assault. But in the meantime, Sortof isn't that pressured to defend either, and he is getting some infestors out onto the field.
Now, infestors are an interesting choice here. It's because the Ultralisk Cavern's coming down. You need the fungal growths to lock down the infantry in order to be able to just get the Ultralisks in range. So this is good from Sortof. Fuzer, he's still being so aggressive. He's moving up towards the 4th base position with a lot of tanks. And that is a huge number of tanks. If he sieges them on the low ground using the medevacs, that may give him position to actually elevator trick them up into the main. And Sortof, he's got to hold it soft. But look at that position of the tanks. So hard to stop that.
No, this was a really, really nice bit of positioning from Fuzer, and I think the important thing to note is that Sortof didn't quite see how large the army was that was moving out across the map. Fuzer was able to avoid his map vision.
These drops trying to come down here. But the tanks are just destroying everything. Fuzer is in a really nice spot. His supply looking really swished. He's got more workers as well behind this, but here comes the Roaches. One last push. The Infestors trying to throw just a couple of infested Terrans, but 3 is not enough. The tanks do destroy one of their own, but sort of just leaving the game. But wow, that was an exciting match, and 5 Ultralisks were on the way, but the positioning of those tanks was just so strong.